good people, it's Mbongeni here. Today we are looking at buying a car in South Africa. Are you considering buying a car? So let's dive into it. The first thing you need to know is the purpose, why you want to buy the car. Okay, people buy the cars for various reasons. Some people, they just buy it because they just want a car to drive around. So that could be a reason. Some people, they want to upgrade. Some people, they want to use the car for personal as well as business related. There are so many reasons. So it's very, very much important to know why you buy a car, right? That will take us to our next part to say what size of the car or a type of a car that you want to buy. If you can look there into the picture I've put there, just a few examples. There are so many sizes and shapes of the cars, so you will need to know which one will best meet your need. Okay. While you are doing that, you also need to take note of the spares availability. I don't think it could be an ideal to buy a car once something small broken or need to be replaced. You'll have to sell the whole car because it's very much expensive to import the spares. So you need to know before you even go buy a car, you need to know the availability of the spares. Okay. Affordability, you must first ask yourself, out of this budget or the amount I'm having every month, let's say it's 10,000. Out of this 10,000, 5,000 covers everything. I'm left with 5,000. From this remaining 5,000, can I use it all to buy a car? Okay, I know the instinct will say yes because I'm not using it for anything. With that other 5,000, let's consider that everything is covered, but this is just a floating budget. So you say, okay, with this 5,000, yes, let me just get a car for 5,000. You will really need to think again. The affordability, the credit record, yes, because your credit record also will count in your favor or against you. Your credit worthiness, you can inquire from various banks how much they can borrow you based on your disposable income, that 5,000 extra that you have. So you need also to, you may think that you can buy a car with that 5,000. You may find that out of this 5,000, actually you've got 2,000 or 1,000, or you don't even have money. So you'll need to check there. Unless you want to buy it cash, you've already accumulated enough money for that. So you may need to think about that. So now once you've sorted that, you need to come to the which kind of a car do you want to buy? Is it a brand new, a pre-owned, a second-hand? The second-hand you will normally get even from people, they are dealers as well who are selling second-hand cars. They are repossessed cars, so you can also need to check that as well. Let's move to the next slide. Okay, now that you've checked your credit worthiness, the reasons and everything, now we're coming to the actual budget. Now you need to work out on the budget on your own. You are still working it privately. You need to think about the deposit, how much deposit you would like to accumulate, the loan. Remember the loan, some of the loans mainly related to cars in South Africa, they will normally bind you for a period of 5 years, unless if you bought a car through residuals or balloons. But let's work on the 5-year period. You may have to commit yourself to this activity for the next coming 5 years. The interest rate, have you heard the Minister of Finance say the interest rate is going up or is going down? If your payment is right on the edge, let's say you have 5,000 and you pay with the whole 5,000, it covers almost everything. Once the interest rate goes higher, then you may have a problem there. So you need to think about that. The petrol as well, you need to budget. If I've got this car, let's say I've got it right now, from this 5,000, how much petrol it can consume. So some cars, they do come with some estimation, or you consult someone who is an expert in that field, can tell you that this car, if it's properly serviced, the consumption can work around this much. So the service, must know that once you've got a car, you need to take it for service, even if it's not funded by the bank. But if it's funded by the bank and it's also having an insurance, it's even far more compulsory. You will really need to look into that. The car must go for service. Most of the cars go for service at every 15,000 intervals, some in 10,000 interval. So you need to think about that. There, when you take a car for service, once the service plan is beyond the service plan. Once it's beyond the service plan, it's no longer covered by the service plan, you will need to pay everything out of your pocket. So you need to budget for that. The insurance, you will need to know that you need to have an insurance, mainly if you are funded by the bank, is a prerequisite. So you will need to take note of that. The license disc, you will need to pay for a license disc, although it's annually, but it goes to a budget. The driver's license renewal, again, is a 5-year process or activity, but you will need also to think about that. The maintenance, the car need to be maintained in one way or another. Out beside the service itself, you may need to maintain the car. Make sure that the wheels are roadworthy. Make sure the lights and all those things. You need to maintain the car. You need to have an emergency budget. Sometimes things can happen. You also need to prepare for an access fee. If you take an insurance, they will say an access fee, the money that you must pay before they pay for your car is 2,000 or 5,000. You'll need to have that amount. You will see when we talk about insurances in that regard. You need to build the deposit. Sometimes to have a big deposit can reduce your monthly repayment. So you need to think about that. Let's move to the next slide. Here now you are going out to look for a car. Are you going to do it personally? Going to Google, going to agencies, check on the magazine, catalogs everywhere. Then you compare the prices. Then you now apply for a loan. If you pay for cash, then your cash is ready. Then you test drive the car. Then you've purchased the car, you've owned the car, okay? Yes, the emphasis there, most banks will require you to take an insurance. Insurance is part of them borrowing you the money. So you need to take note of that. The insurance for the cars would normally be a comprehensive or a third-party cover. You need to know even what is the difference between the two, so that you will know that you will not be shortchanged at the later stage. So this is the end of part 1. See many more of other videos that I've produced. I've got another one about the tips of buying a car, and then we've got the second part of this. So don't forget to subscribe and press the like button. See you again. That was Mbongeni.